All right, guys, welcome. We're going to do another 90-day recap here. The Other Way, new season's out now. This is episode 2 that we're talking about. And let's get into it. 90 Day Fiancé is a reality show that follows couples, one from the U.S., the other from another country. We get to see the ups and downs of a relationship on top of cultural barriers, language boundaries, and all of that to try to get that 90-day visa so that they could be man and wife and live in the same country together. It is 90 Day Fiancé. Let's start with Jenny and Sumit. Now, Jenny only knows how to cook spaghetti, and so she cooks for the whole family. Sumit says he likes it, but he doesn't like it. The comments was needs salt, a bit al dente. And they even asked, what is spaghetti? Like, I don't know if it's just the fact that she just is so bad at making spaghetti, or they just are culturally unfamiliar with spaghetti at all. But she says that's her best and only dish. She really relies on Sumit for the cooking. And then we find out they're starting a family cafe. So the family's going to pitch in and everyone's going to cook. They love cooking, making tea and all this. I think they call it chai. So they're actually going to do a family business, which I thought was kind of interesting. There's still some weight on Jenny's shoulders for her to have to, learn the culture and what women really do there. And it may seem a little bit, like you're going back in time here, but in that culture, the women who work outside the home, they come home and they still do the work at home as well. Jean's like, I don't know if I gotta work outside and inside the home. I don't think I can do this. The cooking issue, mom keeps bringing up, is like, I can't cook. That spaghetti dish I made, that's it. She said she will do some cleaning though, and mom's kind of treating her like one of the kids. Like they're all just kind of under her mom's care, under her control. Sorry, Jenny. So the next morning, they're like, make the tea, Jenny. They're like, said something about tea. She's like, no, coffee for me. She's acting like they're going to serve her. No, Jenny, you have to make the tea for everyone. It was so cute when the little nephew said good morning. That was the best part of the day. The rest of it, Jenny's probably going to dread. So her and Sumit go check out the cafe. They put a lot of money into this. Everything that they had, really, the family's kind of counting on this. His brother even quit his job. They're going to go all in on this. So when Jenny comes to see it, they say, you know what, it's too small. Is what her thoughts are. And it's really because it's the way they petitioned it off, and the walls and the glass that they put up is petitioning it so small that there's really no space to cook in this kitchen. The whole family comes through. They complain. Sumit kind of feels like a failure at this point. He does have a plan B shop for them to look at. The plan B shop has more space. It has a water inlet outlet, which the other place doesn't have. But that place is like kind of off the beaten path, and there's not a lot of people around. But the place they originally chose is too small. It's in the college district. This other like little food court. It's like a food court type area over there. So they will be right in the center of all that, and more business would come to them. So they have to have something to figure out here when it comes to which place they're going to choose. I think this is a fun idea. They have a lot riding on it, so it's like something we can root for them and hope that they actually can figure out what's the best thing to do. Actually hope they're successful, and Jenny really hopes they're successful because she wants them to make enough money so they can get their own place again. All right, now let's go into Johnny and Chloe. We get to see a little bit more about Johnny. He's doing boat stunts on a literal pirate ship. They said he was a pirate in Aruba. He does acrobatic stunts. He says life is just all about enjoying yourself. And his job is basically a big booze cruise. There's temptation from women out there. It's overwhelming. People just come to travel and enjoy and have fun. And it's like a big booze cruise party boat is where he works. Kind of make me think of I think his name is Juan, his job working on the cruise ship. So he said it's hard to resist these ladies, but because he's with Chloe now, and he thought Chloe was just like one of the other women that just wanted to, I guess, have fun for the time that they were there and disappear. But he found out she's not like the others. She said she was going to come back, and she did. She kept coming back. But he says she's a little bit overwhelming him, and overbearing. She has cameras on him so she can kind of see what he's doing while she's in the U.S. He said he wasn't trustworthy in the past, but she also wasn't either. He saw that she was talking to another guy on her phone. So they both have trust issues with each other. But he loves her. He wants to settle down. He said, I've partied enough. I think he said he's 31. He's kind of worried because of her age, and he's wondering if she still has that party vibe in her and she's not really ready to settle down. But hopefully this thing works out between them, and he's really ready to settle. So I think that's a good thing, because before really getting to know his side of the story, it looked like he was just a playboy. And we did hear that he did have other women, but we also see that was an issue with her as well, with other men. And that they kind of have to learn how to settle down and make this thing work if they really want to make it work. So I do hope that they can figure this thing out. She's a little young, and some may say she needs more time, but I think she could really make it work if she wants to. People have been getting married young, and some actually can last and some haven't, but it's worth a try if you really feel like you care about that person. She doesn't want her mom to know that she doesn't really know what she's doing going to Aruba. And she really doesn't want mom to judge him because of his past mistakes as well. No one's really on board with this trip, but she says she's going to just do her best and make it work. She's only 23, leaving the country. It's kind of a big deal. It's a big deal for me, and I'm not 23 anymore. Mignon and Anthony, they're kind of my most interesting couple. And I kind of want to break down a little more about them and kind of talk more about their scenario, because we kind of mentioned the fact that she values money and work over family, and he's the opposite. He values family over money. So they have a big issue with that. They had a blowout fight with his sister, Sarah. We come to find out that's his twin sister. And he does point out that they both have fiery personalities, and that's what I really thought myself when I saw them kind of go at it last time. It's a moving day. Mignon's tears are coming out, but her sister did come and apologize, which Anthony let us know. His sister, came to apologize, Sarah. So everything's kind of on a good note at this point as they're on their way out. She says, I'm a sugar mama. She's the sugar mama of this relationship. I don't know if that's the best way to think about your marriage, but they have this one-on-one emotional talk, and she's realizing that her new family is her American dream. There's nothing lost. Even though it's been 10 years here in the U.S. and she's built a lot, going back, she feels like she's taking steps back, going back to France, but she realizes she built a new beautiful family, and that's what's most important. They're currently staying with his aunt right now just because they had to move out in the house in a short period of time. And I was like, well, why don't you guys just stay with the aunt and try to figure out what to do in the U.S., because you're going to end up going to move in with her parents anyway. But maybe aunt's not up for it anyway. Maybe aunt says this is temporary. So on their way to the airport, they have that fight about their values again. Money over family, family over money, which is which. How much time she's been spending. She said, I've been putting some work in. Me and our son have bath time now. And he's kind of acting like, oh, that's not really that much. He feels like he's been doing solo parenting. Well, she's like, I've been doing solo providing. And she's one to very yell really quickly about situations. I think that Anthony's kind of trying to protect that from their child. The baby's sleeping in the baby seat, and she's yelling like it's not a thing. And he's getting loud, but not anywhere near loud as she is. And as the baby wakes up, he apologizes like gently. And I think it's also because he's trying to protect the baby from these conversations and this yelling. But now they're about to get on this flight. There's tension between them. So, hope you guys have a great life in France. All right, next, Luke and Madeline. She talks to her friend, says, I want to get my own place. And she doesn't want to let Luke's bad investments bring her down. She feels like, she has that shop that he got for her, and she's done some of her own things in life. I think she said party planning or something like that. And she's been successful, so she's not just going to rely on him. She's going to rely on her own skills as well. Her friend says, I think you're really wasting time with him. Another girl was kind of involved with him. She was seeing some things online where he was messaging another young lady. But she says she can't let go of him. She loves him. That's her first love. So she forgave him in the situation. She had her own indiscretions in the past, and she was called out in the previous season. I think that was Love in Paradise, where she supposedly had another guy in the bed with her. That wasn't fully resolved, and his friend is actually going to talk more about that at this bachelor party / going away party, because he's about to go move to her country. And they're supposed to be getting married. Will he get in trouble for the antics of his friends? We'll see. He gets tricked. The bachelor party looks pretty simple. Just the guys, maybe some alcohol, some costumes, other libations, I guess. Then his friend brings up Madeline and basically said Madeline kind of messed up his relationship with his ex-wife, and she was getting her revenge on the fact that he called her out and kind of let Luke know that she had this other guy in her bed. So she got her revenge. She says she's controlling. You jump whenever she says jump. That's true. He's saying you're forcing this. You really don't have to be in this relationship with her. And the other friend says, give it a rest. This is his bachelor party. If he loves her, let him take the risk for love, if that's what he wants to do. Then the games begin, and they get a little visit from a dancer, and that might spell trouble for them later. Well, at least for Luke. I don't know why everybody's got their phones out and taping this, because this does not need to be on social media, especially if you don't want Madeline to know. So what are you guys going to do with this footage? I think Madeline's probably going to find this out. She was like, no bachelor party without me. And finally, we meet newcomer Greta. She's 27. Her best friend is her cat Hazel. She gets along with animals more than people. There's a lot of people that kind of feel like animals are better than people, and she's definitely one of them in a very big way. Until she meets Matthew, who's 26, and he's from England. And, she kind of first has a cat photo shoot. That's how we meet her. She's having a photo shoot with her cat. She said her cat is another version of herself. They're both Aries. I'm like, really, the birth date of the animal to the point where you're syncing up you guys' what is that thing, horoscope? Because I'm not into horoscopes, but like syncing your horoscope with your animal, your pet, that's something I've never heard anyone really do. She said her cat is passionate, independent, yet can be quirky, a little bit like herself. Is it a little much? She said the outside world might think so, the normies, but she says she thinks normies are weird herself. She's a nonconformist. She just graduated from law school, and she's interested in getting into animal law, which I didn't know that was a thing. She has a deep connection with animals, and again, like she said, they're better than humans. Matthew, her love, he describes himself as a nerd. He's building these little tiny structures here, and he lets us know he's attracted to eccentrics. He's kind of like the base. He called himself the base of this pasta, where he's just like the noodles, and the women that he meets is the spice in the noodles. So he's like, this is what he likes. They met on some type of vegan dating app, which I didn't know existed as well. And after a year and a half of them going back and forth to see each other, it looks like she was going back and forth. He proposed. They're supposed to end up living with his parents until they find a place. But sadly, she has to leave her cat Hazel. Her friends will take her cat for now, but she's kind of emotional because she doesn't really want to say goodbye to her cat. She has to say goodbye because Matt's parents, they have just a little cottage and they already have a cat and dog. And her cat is finicky and picky and is not probably going to be able to mix well with that. And then, speaking of that, she's like, she's not sure if she can mix well with the family dynamic herself. Her and her friends kind of have a going away party as well. She's making bracelets with her friends. They like to knit, crochet, make tea. She said, we're kind of like a bunch of grandmas. She reveals to us their mom passed away at 5. Her dad remarried. And there was a lot of family conflict. She felt like she had to shrink herself in this family. She got in her head a lot. And she kind of lacks family social skills. She's a huge animal advocate right now. She can't even practice law in England because she got all of her credentials in the U.S. So she's going to work as an animal advocate, volunteer or something like that. So that's what she's going to do when she gets there. But she kind of lets us know animals saved her in the midst of everything that was going wrong. Her mother passing, her new family that didn't accept her. I think she said they had some gerbils and they were just everything to her at that time. And she built a strong bond with them and just said animals are more accepting than people. And I think many of us can agree. So this is our new set of people here, our new person, I'll say, on this episode of 90 Day the Other Way. What are you guys' thoughts, comments, and questions? I want to kind of get a little bit more in depth with Mignon and Anthony, and I may do a separate video about that, but things are kind of going slow. You know, this is kind of how all of the seasons starts off a little slow, then it builds up and it builds up. But it's interesting. It's a decent watch for now. I'm interested in the whole family business scenario. And Anthony and Mignon, those two are really my most interesting ones. And Greta's pretty interesting too, just to see how this is going to unfold. Johnny and Chloe, that might be a tricky one. I feel like maybe their stories is a little bit similar. A young person and an older person, and just trying to make this work. Young love, both of them aren't really grounded yet. So, and Luke and Madeline, I don't know. I mean, they always to me just seem like things just were kind of messy, and it's just going to continue to be messy. And I don't even know if they're really going to get married. If they do, great, but it's just going to be still messy. And their age difference is pretty up there too. So I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen as we continue this journey with 90 Day Fiancé the Other Way. We're talking more faith, love, and trends right here on CBiz Media. Feel free to drop your thoughts, comments, and questions. We'll talk again. All the best. God bless. Check us out on our other platforms at cbiztvmedia.com. And I'll talk to you again later. Faith, love, and trends. This is Irene.